Good afternoon, and thank you for joining this news event. My name is Adam Wolf, and I'm a partner with the law firm Pifer Wolf, Carcane, Conway, and Wise, or Pifer Wolf for short. Today, we filed a lawsuit on behalf of Krystena Murray against Coastal Fertility Specialists for mixing up her embryo during implantation, resulting in her carrying and giving birth to another couple's biological child. In a moment, you'll hear from Krystena. But first, I'd like to provide some background information about the lawsuit. Krystena went to Coastal Fertility Specialists for IVF services to start her family. She actually chose the clinic in part because of its reassuring messages on its website, including, quote, "There is no safer place for your embryos," unquote. Krystena selected a sperm donor who resembled her. He was white with dirty blonde hair and blue eyes. The next several months for Krystena were grueling. They were filled with medical tests, drugs to stimulate ovulation, injections, follow-up exams, and blood tests. Krystena sometimes had to give herself multiple injections per day. The egg retrieval surgery was painful, but it was for an important end goal. The physically and emotionally demanding process was to allow Krystena's retrieved eggs to be used with the donor's sperm to create her embryos. In May 2023, Coastal Fertility Specialists transferred an embryo to Krystena. But as Krystena later learned, Coastal Fertility Specialists did not actually transfer to Krystena one of her embryos. Instead, the embryo that Coastal Fertility Specialists transferred belonged to complete strangers who were also customers of Coastal Fertility. Krystena was overwhelmed with joy and hope when she learned she was pregnant. In December 2023, she delivered a beautiful, healthy baby boy. But she vividly remembers the shock when she saw her baby for the first time. Whereas Krystena is a Caucasian woman who chose a sperm donor with a similar appearance, the baby she delivered was African American. It was clear to Krystena that Coastal Fertility Specialist had made an unimaginable error. To be clear, Krystena had no issues or concerns with the baby's race, other than the fact that it indicated that she was not biologically related to her child. Instead of excitement or joy, Krystena's stay in the hospital was dominated by confusion and fear. But like any other mother, Krystena fell in love with her baby. She bonded with him, she breastfed him, she took him to doctor's appointments, and she snuggled him throughout the day. He quickly became her best friend, her daily companion, and her source of strength. But life with her baby was full of anxiety. Every time the doorbell rang, Krystena worried it would be someone there to take away her child. Krystena felt that she needed answers. Whose embryo was transferred to her? And where was her embryo that was supposed to be transferred to her? Krystena purchased an at-home DNA kit. She did not receive the results until late January of 2024. At the same time, Krystena wanted Coastal Fertility Specialists to know about her situation for at least a couple of reasons. First, she figured if this had happened to her at Coastal Fertility Specialists, then it could happen to somebody else unless Coastal Fertility changed its procedures. Second, she thought it was important for the other couple to know what had occurred. In late March 2024, Coastal Fertility told Krystena that it likely had transferred another couple's embryo to her. It also informed the other couple that their embryo may have been transferred to Krystena, who became pregnant and delivered the baby. A DNA test then confirmed that this is in fact what had occurred. Coastal Fertility had transferred to Krystena an embryo that belonged to another couple. The other couple ultimately took legal action against Krystena to obtain custody of Krystena's baby. Krystena was then advised that she ultimately would lose custody of her baby in family court if she went to trial. So Krystena gave up custody of her child to avoid a drawn-out legal battle that would just make the situation harder on her child. After spending every moment with her baby for 5 months, every second of his life, Krystena has not seen her child ever since. Krystena is heartbroken. Coastal Fertility made a serious mistake, and the consequences are life-altering for Krystena. This is not the first IVF mix-up case that I've handled, and sadly, it will not be the last. A big reason is the lack of regulation. Unfortunately, the United States is one of the few developed countries without meaningful oversight over fertility clinic laboratories. Until IVF clinics are subject to real regulations, reporting requirements, and mandatory certification programs for lab staff, these types of errors will continue to occur. Thank you. I'll now turn this over to Krystena. I look forward to your questions during the Q&A period.
Thanks, Adam. And let's go to our second speaker, Krystena Murray, former patient of Coastal Fertility Specialists. Go ahead, Krystena.
My name is Krystena Murray, and I live in Savannah, Georgia, and I am a former patient of Coastal Fertility Specialist. The actions of the fertility clinic have come very close to destroying me, have left irreparable damage to my soul, and ultimately left me questioning whether I should be a mom or not. I was once asked as a child what I wanted to be when I grew up. They were referring to my career. I said a mom. I spent almost 2 years as a single woman trying to get pregnant with the help of physicians. Upon learning I was pregnant, I, of course, was elated, and all of my dreams were coming true. The moment you give birth and welcome your baby into the world is supposed to be this profound, beautiful, and life-altering experience. All of the emotional and physical pain and sacrifice associated with pregnancy and preparing your entire life to welcome a child are worth it when the baby is placed in your arms, where they should stay forever. My birth story is nothing like what anyone could ever anticipate. It is riddled with shock, confusion, fear. The birth of my child was supposed to be the happiest moment of my life, and honestly, it was. But it was also the scariest moment of my life. While my child was born healthy and he remains the most beautiful human I will ever lay eyes on, it was immediately apparent that something did not go to plan at the fertility clinic. All of the love and joy I felt seeing him for the first time was immediately replaced by fear. How could this have happened? What happened? Was he genetically related to me at all? If he wasn't, could someone come and take him from me? Thoughts no mother should ever have to endure. My child was ultimately taken from me as the clinic had implanted into my womb the embryo from a stranger. I've never felt so violated, and this situation has left me emotionally and physically broken. It has affected every aspect of my life in some way, and words cannot describe the continued destruction that it has on my life. I spent my entire life wanting to be a mom. I loved, nurtured, and grew my child, and I would have done literally anything in my power to keep him. My baby is not genetically mine. He doesn't have my blood. He doesn't have my eyes, but he is and will always be my son. To carry a baby, to fall in love with him, to deliver him, to build that uniquely special bond between a mother and a child, all to have them taken away. I'll never be the same woman. I will never fully heal or completely move on. And part of me will always long for my son and wonder what kind of person he's becoming. Coastal Fertility Clinic has hurt me in ways that I have yet to discover. And there are literally no words or unit of measure that can describe the damage that they have caused. I cannot imagine anything more cruel than taking a child from its mother at the fault of no one else, or not at the fault of the mother, but because of someone else's error. My hope in sharing my story is that this will help prevent this from ever happening to anyone else trying to start a family of their own. Thank you.